Alright, welcome to another session of the CITY65 Music Studio Sessions, and we have with us today General Lee. Alright, can you guys introduce yourself individually?
Okay, I'm Isaac. I play bass and I sing backing vocals.
I'm Lin. I'm lead vocals for General Lee.
I'm Victor. I play guitar.
Hi, my name is Ken. I play drums and percussion and sing a little bit.
What is the last song that all of you listen to on your phone?
On our phone. Does the radio count?
Yeah, sure.
We will. Okay. For Ken and I, we were in the car just now. We were listening to this group, Greta Van Fleet. Coincidentally, I think one of the earlier artists, the Bats, one of them mentioned it. So we're going to check it out. That crazy band, good music.
Nice.
Well, on my phone on repeat, it's actually one album that a friend introduced me to lately. It's a self-titled album called Captain Beyond, and they are sort of like a very psychedelic rock group from the 70s, and the entire album is really probably the best concept album I've heard. It's one of those things where you just listen from end to end. So there's no one song in particular, but it's just this whole album from start to finish. Yeah.
Nice. What about you?
I'm a bit of a caveman, so I don't really listen to stuff on the phone. But
Okay.
currently on rotation in my car is actually Lunacy, an old Japanese visual K band. So I've got the latest album, Love, on heavy rotation, cause my wife and my son like it. So
Like any guilty pleasures that you don't want the world to know but you always listen to?
Barbie girl.
You're sacked! You're sacked! You're out!
I think for me it's Steely Dan, man.
Steely Dan,
yeah.
okay.
So that's not a guilty pleasure, but that's probably the only thing I can think of. Other than Barbie girl, which all of us love. Except.
Well, for me, I guess I grew up listening to 90.5, sitting in the car with my dad, and I suppose to this day I still know a lot of Kenny Rogers songs by heart. I love the songs like Hate Chicken.
I'm a closet Civil Wars fan. So it's a great duo. They got a whole indie swampy sound, just enough old school vibe. Yeah, I really like them.
I guess for me it would have to be In Flames. Yeah, so it's a bit left field considering what I play now.
How do you guys meet to form this band?
We're old friends. We knew each other from school mainly, I think. Isaac and I we're childhood friends actually, so we've known each other. Yeah, since 11. So that's 20 years. I met this guy in school, but we all sort of played the same places here and there, different bands. But you see each other around, right? In the scene and everything.
Yeah, I suppose where our musical influences really came together was when we were in university. Ken and I, we were in the same Lin, Ken and I, we were in the same hostel, and Isaac used to come and hang out as well, and we'd be jamming all the old songs. Hey, you like that one too? Oh, I love that one too. And we just ended up discovering that we all liked the same style of music.
Nice.
And I suppose after we all played in our own respective cover bands, we all figured, maybe it's time to do something of our own. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the story of General Lee.
Who is the laziest member of the band? Everybody's pointing to themselves. Okay, next. So, who is the craziest member of the band? Who is the most emotional? Oh, really? Okay, nice. Okay. Who is the most talented? Nice. Okay, last one. Who is the most caring?
Yeah, I have to go with it.
I tend to care for myself.
How would you like people to feel when they listen to your music?
Well, there's a bit of a running joke about this. We were thinking about this question, and the first thing that came to mind was good, full stop. But jokes aside, I think we want people to actually kind of think, because this genre is not something that automatically comes to the mind of people these days.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're trying to do is kind of introduce what influenced us in the beginning, but in a with a slightly modern take, like a slightly modern arrangements, but with an old sound, kind of bringing back that old organic way of doing things in one, trying to do things in one take, doing it organically without overlaying too many things live.
First and foremost, we're playing this because we love it. But we also hope that whoever listens to this will feel that this guy's doing something that not a lot of people are doing. This is I hate to say this, but this is, they might be thinking this is stuff my dad used to listen to. So I suppose it's partly we want them to feel like this is something new that they might have heard previously but not paid much attention to, and we're just basically hoping to draw attention to this genre of music that's overlooked in certain circles. So we're hoping to bring it out to a wider audience.
I think also apart from the genre and the kind of music, it's also the stories that our songs are telling, because we tend to play songs about Singapore's history and Singapore's culture, which I feel it's a bit lacking in the local scene.
Yeah, evidently.
maybe.
You have this song called Ballad of Bukit Brown, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, I hate that place.
I mean, there are so many of our pioneers who are still buried there in the part that's still there, and it's a great place for a walk. There are groups that organize regular guided tours. There are people who've really done a lot of research into it. They'll tell you, this tombstone has got this particular inscription. It's from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, because this guy was a huge fan of it, and there are a lot of Singapore's pioneers buried there. So it's
crazy.
So yeah, we felt that this kind of place needs to be remembered in song.
Yeah, which is what you've done very well, actually.
Thank you.
Who are your greatest musical influences growing up?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I started off listening to 90.5 in my dad's car, and so country music. So it's sort of like my first exposure to it. But when I started playing guitar, I think Eric Clapton was my first main influence, and that's where he turned me on to the blues. And from there, I went further and further back to his influences, Robert Johnson, Freddie King, Muddy Waters, and Howling Wolf, and all those old guys. And so after I got into blues, then I discovered rock and roll in school, and so it's a bit of a reverse situation. Usually most people go into blues from rock, whereas I went the other way around. So I suppose that's maybe that explains a bit about how different my approach is. I prefer to take the old sound and apply it to the new. Yeah. So that's my influence. How about you guys?
Left field man here. Early influences, so they include Japanese J-rock, L'Arc-en-Ciel, some Lunacy, Cliff Burton era Metallica, some In Flames, Doobie Brothers, Creedence Clearwater Revival, some Tower Power. Yeah.
Tower Power, yeah, nice.
Yeah, a bit more mainstream for me. So I started off with really very rock, 90s rock, Green Day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, but yeah. No, it's not.
Actually, last week when we interviewed the Bats, the drummer was sitting here and he said the exact same thing. He likes Green Day.
Yeah. I guess we all start from there because probably it's a bit more accessible. It's a bit more accessible, exactly. And thereafter you move on to maybe slightly more, I don't know, sophisticated in the sense stuff. When you start going into the drummers like Steve Gadd, and then Tower Power, and finally Steely Dan right now. And yeah. So it's a journey. It's a bit more mainstream for me.
I'm probably the most pop not in terms of genre, but the format, the frequencies.
Okay.
So as a singer, so I tended to listen more to the singing groups. So I grew up with Bee Gees. I love the Eagles. Brett, David Gates is a favorite of mine. Johnny Cash, and of course I love the more rock stuff. Queen as well, And I mean we have a number of bands that we kind of where it's similar. I think I would say the Allman Brothers, Doobie Brothers, all the brother bands. So that's where we converge as a band.
Nice.
But you can see it's a bit old school in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. It also reflects in what you play also.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So if is there any local artist or local band that you really like?
We like you.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey, cut that out.
Cheating Sons.
Oh yeah, Shining Suns.
The
Nice.
Steve McQueens. These two are great bands. And they
Right,
got
right.
great names. I mean, we wanted to name ourselves Steve McQueens and the Cheating Sons, but they got taken.
Well, like generally, it's a very quirky name as well. Like it's so easy to remember, right?
I guess. Should we talk about the thing on the SEO? Like, if you Google generally Singapore, some of the first hits that come on, well, you get us, but you get a few personalities there. Good. Try it out.
I am very good personal friends with the founding member of the Stray Dogs. They were a 70s, probably one of the pioneers of the Singapore rock and R&B scene. And so yeah, he and I, we still, we get together and have a couple of drinks along with a couple other friends, and I was talking about music. And for me, the music that they recorded back in the day was pioneering in the sense that this was something that nobody in Singapore was doing. At that time, it was mostly people who were doing sort of shadows and adventures kind of cover bands, dressed up in matching suits and outfits and everything. And along came these guys who were basically rockers at heart. They drew more influence from the Rolling Stones, and so yeah, they were really quite different in their day, and I guess that's a bit of what we're like as well. So the Stray Dogs is one. Well, the country guy and me, I love Matthew Tan and the Mandarins.
Oh wow, that's old school, man. That's real old school.
And I was really lucky because a friend of mine actually stumbled upon a collection of records from one of his old primary school teachers who didn't know what to do with them. So he let me have first dips, and I found 2 of his albums. And wow, that was really a highlight in my collection, I would say.
Oh, that's really old school, man. Yeah.
It's really cool, and it's really, you just close your eyes and you're in Nashville, just listening to his voice. Yeah.
For me, I started music a fair bit later than the rest of them, so whatever I come across is a bit newer. So other than what they've mentioned, personal friends of mine are Pulse, but they're currently on hiatus. I really like their stuff, kind of like a mishmash of older and newer stuff. And we recently played at Crazy Elephant, and there's this young band. I'm quite interested in Coming Up Roses. I chatted with them, and they say they're probably recording some stuff now. I'm looking forward to see what they put out.
Okay, so like if there's any band in Singapore that you can collaborate with, like who would it be? It doesn't matter if like they don't play music anymore or like they're playing music now. Like if there's any band who you can collaborate with.
Yeah, Stray Dogs.
Stray Dogs?
Stray Dogs.
Nice.
I think one of our plans was to actually collaborate with the old-time musicians who used to, back in the day, were really in the scene. So we're thinking of maybe like getting them into, maybe to feature in one song, and
Nice.
yeah, just as a form of tribute to
Like
what
the
they
guys who
did
started
and
it
how
all
they
lah.
how they inspired us. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to that, the people that Ken was referring to, one of them, of course, is the member of Stray Dogs that I was talking about, and some others. I think they played in bands like the October Cherries, New Faces, and that's the New Faces, right? I think. So yeah, I mean these are the guys who pretty much paved the way for the scene as it is today, and no, they're all still very active, still playing, still having a good time. And I guess they're sort of like I'm not sure if I should say role model for how we want to be when we grow old, but we definitely want to be as active in the music scene as they are.
If you could use one word to describe your music, what would it be?
Weird.
No, it's definitely not weird.
Well, I see it from the perspective of the audience, because weird in kind of an ambiguous and a good way, because it makes them think. It's something they're not used to, and what we hope to achieve is that it's weird in a good way, in the sense that they hear it, they may not think that they will be drawn to it, but they will be, and that makes them that attracts them to kind of perhaps the opening their ears up to the genre and maybe the earlier influences of whatever they were listening to now. So that's where I'm coming from, more as from the standpoint of the listener.
So like right now you have one album out, right?
Yes.
Where can we find that album? Like where are you on like social media? You're
Right,
on
okay.
Bandcamp?
All right, so yeah, that too. So the physical album can be purchased at Bandcamp, or if any of you know any of us personally, or feel free to look for us. We sell it at gigs as well, and we have it online on Spotify. iTunes, Deezer. We've got an aggregator to take care of all these things.
Right.
So on all the major streaming platforms, I suppose. Even Google Play also we do get some hits from there as well. So yeah, and we've also got a music video out of one of our the songs of our album called Opium Hill, and it's on our YouTube channel. Just search for General Lee Opium Hill Singapore. You'll find it.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, so are there any like upcoming plans to release a new album, EP or single, something coming up soon?
We have been writing. We've got a couple of new songs. As for the album, I don't know. We'll have to think about it. It was really quite the first album was 3 years in the making, so it will take us a while. But we'll get to it. We've got to do something with all these songs.
So can you just help us give a shout out to CITY65 and tell them about the festival that you're playing on the 31st of March?
Yeah, so hope you guys will come down and support CITY65 on the 31st of March. We'll be there with lots of great bands, and just hang out. There's great food as well. You get to see this fella as well, and us. So soon.
Yeah, I'd like to also thank the CITY65 for putting this on. I think it's a great showcase for Singapore musicians. Yeah. And there's really a lot of commitment, a lot of effort has gone into this, and I'm seriously really impressed by all the work that's gone into this. So really thank you all guys, and we definitely hope to see you all there. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for hanging out with us today. And
it's a pleasure.
You are bringing us a song today, right?
Yep.
Can you tell us more about the song that you're gonna play?
Okay, this song's called Redhill Remorse. It's the first song of our album. It's really a very straight ahead blues rock number, and the lyrics basically tell the story of how Redhill got its name. This is probably something you've read in our social studies textbooks in primary and secondary school, I think.
Yeah.
About the young kid who came up with the brilliant idea to stop the swordfish from attacking the villagers, and how the jealous king eventually had him killed, and his blood flowed down and turned the hill red. So this song is really just retelling that legend in the form of a song. Yep.
Nice. Okay, fantastic. So take it away.
Mama told me stories about the Cape of Sticks one night. Swordfish came, made the radar see so bright. People came and wept, people screamed and shout. Should've shut my mouth, should've gone down south. You gotta roll, you gotta roll with a bunch of sun. You gotta roll, with your legend grow. King kept on praying to sin, they had no say. Boy from the hill, it ain't showed down the way. Made a foot out of me, and made a foot out of you. Boy's gotta go, his blood's gotta flow. You gotta roll, you gotta roll in a bunch of sun. You gotta roll, with your legend grow. gotta roll, you gotta roll in a punchy song. You gotta roll, Redhill lantern grows. You gotta roll in a punchy song. You gotta roll, Redhill lantern grows. You gotta roll, 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 Redhill lantern grows.